Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair. If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, good morning, everyone. It is so good to see you. I hope that you are doing well today. I was feeling pretty good this morning. I've been up, and I don't know if I've gotten a whole lot done, but I've been up and working and trying to organize some things and things like that. So there's been work done this morning, so I hope everybody else is doing very well as well. Welcome to my home, welcome to the office here, and welcome to the morning grind. Good to see everybody. We've got James here and BGD. Yeah, this is going to be kind of a different kind of morning grind because I think I had like the presentation about, okay, what am I trying to do and what projects are coming up and things like that. But I needed to really revise that. Well, whatever, that PowerPoint presentation. James was saying that my PowerPoint presentation sucked, and yes, it did. Because I need to have this available. First of all, some numbers for my own reference about exactly what it is that we're trying to build here through Ravenkeep. The different kinds of brands, channels, things like that. And I need to better organize that myself. Actually, a major part of starting to organize that better was about 3 months ago when I decided to get more serious about branding things better and breaking videos out to different channels and things like that. And I think that has been a major benefit to everything that is trying to be created here, because not only does it help with people like, oh, this, I like this, so I'll subscribe to this channel or be a part of this, and I don't like that, so that's all right, I won't see that. This is just over here, rather than having it all in one place. But that also allows me to come up with some different data, or allows me to collect data on individual brands so that I know what's working and what's not. So we'll see. The application of the data, that may be coming in the future, the coming weeks and months. Right now, I've got to just collect some data. We need to figure out where we are, what we're doing, and that way, figure out where we are. That way we'll know what's working and what's not, and what's working better and what's not over the coming weeks. So that's my thinking. That's my thinking, because I need to have this organized, because I had a meeting in November where I was trying to go over the status of everything that is Ravenkeep. And I didn't actually have time to pull it all together into something nice. So I was actually just scrolling through notes on an iPad, like the actual notes app, like scrolling, because I had started to gather some notes from a month ago about where things are, and I was just scrolling through that, but I was like, I really need to sit down and actually think about this. I'll put it into a bit nicer kind of spreadsheet or nicer presentation, like we were talking about. That way, if somebody wants to know, okay, what are you doing? And I know what I'm doing. Like, what exactly am I doing over here? I have some type of grasp on where I am, so we can know where we're going. Good morning, Phaserist. Good morning, Robert. Good morning. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Lynn, Andrew, Sable. We got a great Japperts. We got a great crew this morning. Good morning. A wild Sable Phoenix appears. Yes. I saw that. And I started listening to that, but I didn't get to finish with it this morning. So I saw that. I'm listening. James says, "Oh crap, I think I owe you an Excel template." No. I'm gonna. No, that's fine. No. All right. So let's see. So what is going on? Okay, several things are going on. Let's talk about what's going on right now. So first of all, and we will talk about our progress right here. But okay, so Brianna, we published, and actually I might need to revise this thumbnail right now. Brianna and I really talked about corruption arcs and storytelling and corruption in the fall. So on with Scarface, that was yesterday. I posted that over to the Table Talk channel yesterday. That was a great conversation. I've also been posting some clips. So Table Talk right over here. Where's the link to drop to everybody? If you're not already over there, I have been really God, I'm having some computer problems. That got jammed up as well. But okay, so the Table Talk right here, or I can just give you the link right up here. Table Talk. Let's see. So we've been getting some traction over here on some of our Arcane clips. I finally got to publish some Arcane clips because Brianna was sick. And so last week, she started actually making some Arcane thumbnails. We were able to get those out. Oh, look at that. And that Napoleon movie, Dreadful or Worth Watching, that had 374 views. How Arcane handles violence and female characters. That has 255 views. Arcane, How to Do Diversity Right, 565 views. So there have also been clips coming out over there, and they seem to be pretty well received. So that's good. That's really good. We now get this. We have 843 subscribers over on Table Talk. 843. That is pretty incredible. So tomorrow. This is tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Doug and Brianna and Doug and I will be talking about the Christmas Story. We're going to be talking about this from the religious and the literary perspective. We're going to be comparing the different tellings of the Nativity story. Our references, if you want to reference material before this Table Talk takes place, I have a feeling this is going to be an epic one. We're going to be talking about the Christmas story from the perspective of St. Luke and St. Matthew. I'm going to be talking about my adaptation of the story for the trial of St. Gabriel. Cameron is going to be talking about the birth of Christ from the Islamic perspective. And I also dropped into the Discord server. I'll get that link since my other thing isn't coming up. Discord link. In the Table Talk Discord server link, I asked him if there was any material that we should familiarize ourselves with prior to having the conversation tomorrow, and he sent me 2 links about the birth of Christ from the Islamic perspective. I put those links over in Table Talk. We might even look at them tomorrow. I haven't read them yet myself, but we might do that. Might even do that tomorrow because I want to be sure that I read them today or tomorrow and take notes. We have plenty of notes for the conversation tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to that one. The Christmas story will be live tomorrow. And so what I did yesterday, I did get it out yesterday. Here is the Trial of St. Gabriel. This is my Kickstarter that's going on right now for everyone who would like to be involved. The Trial of St. Gabriel. If you're on the campaign, last night I did finish a new digital version, digital layout of Trial of St. Gabriel. I spent a lot of time this weekend trying to learn both Vellum and InDesign. I mean, I've used InDesign a little bit, but I thought that program Vellum as a layout program was really going to help me for what I need, and a lot of you guys watching this channel needs, about as far as laying out a book once and then being able to get. I need 3 different versions of the book. I need a print version, a print layout. I need a direct PDF layout, and then I also need a reflowable text layout. And I really thought that Vellum was going to help me out with that. And ultimately, I came to the conclusion, no. I mean, it looks like it does some stuff, but it's not what I was looking for. So then I was like, okay, the solution is going to be, let me really get into InDesign and get this figured out. But when you need something done, that's not the time to try to learn something. That's an excellent lesson that I've learned over and over again, it seems. So instead, I just went back to my original way. So I built out a new PDF. I haven't built out the print version yet. I'm going to try to do that this afternoon. Hey, good morning, PH. So that I can get a new print proof. But I did just put together a new PDF, and then I sent that to everybody who was already on the campaign and got a digital copy. That way you can read it by tomorrow if you want to. The campaign's still going on, but I was like, if anybody wants to to read this story before we talk about it tomorrow night, join in on the Kickstarter. I'll send out more. Actually, what it is you can. It's a backer only update. That's how I did it. That way, if you want to get this story before tomorrow night, there's a backer only update, Trial of St. Gabriel PDF in advance of tabletop discussion. So if you back at a level that gets you a digital copy, there's already a link. You can get it right now. I'll get the print copies, going on later after the campaign concludes. But if you want to, it's only $4. You can come into this Kickstarter, look at the backers only update, click that, and immediately get the PDF for tomorrow night's discussion. So if you read St. Mark, St. Matthew, the Trial of St. Gabriel, and then the links that Cameron had sent me that I posted in the Discord, you'll have all the material that we are all reading before our discussion tomorrow. So that is what is going on there. I would love to have you as part of this, and that will be our material for discussion tomorrow. So that is great. So what else do I need to say right now? On Table Talk as well. So Thursday, I haven't made up this thumbnail yet, but Thursday, Maxwell Alexander Drake. He is from Starving Writer Studios. He is the one who wrote Dynamic Story Creation. I talked about this the other day, but Thursday I'll be talking to Maxwell Alexander Drake. He says, throughout my 20-year career, I've earned accolades by crafting tales for industry giants such as Sony's EverQuest Next and Catalyst Games Labs Shadowrun, with tales coming soon for the famed Harn World RPG setting. We're going to be talking about Star Wars. We're going to be talking about working story structure, Star Wars, tragedy. In fact, let me make notes of that. So I need to make sure that we are talking about tragic heroes, especially with what Adrian's been talking about with writing tragic heroes, life in the industry, and of course your comments as well. So that will be Thursday at 7:00 p.m. James says, I'm excited to finally have him on. I'm really looking forward to it. BGD says, generally speaking, Vellum is a pretty neat program. It's sufficiently intuitive and flexible to get a basic book manuscript in digital format for submission to print on demand publishers. I mean, I think I agree. But it's not. It was easy. It's not particularly robust. Like when I think about laying out a book, for instance, you see right here that I've got a small image that I was going to have right above the start of the text here. Vellum will let you put an image there, but it doesn't let you control the size. It just has small, medium, or large size. I'm like, what is that? I need to actually be able to tell it what size I want that image to be. And then when I went to like print layout, I mean, I'm used to when I'm laying out a book for print, I want to be able to tell it exactly what my font size needs to be and exactly what my line spacing needs to be. But like there was just like a slider that's like, do you want smaller text or larger text? Kind of slide someplace around here in increments. And then I was like, okay, forget it. That's just not going to work. Phaser Risk says, I still use Word for all of my books. Word 2002. You know, I wrote, of course, I write in Scrivener and I love Scrivener. That's not for laying out, but it is for writing. But then, man, I wrote my entire doctoral dissertation in Word. I didn't find something like Scrivener until after that. And I was thinking, how in the world did I write my entire doctoral dissertation in Word? But I did. Anyway, all right. So that's what's coming up soon. All right, let's take that down. I've got my drink ready. All right, let's start our morning sacrament. That was a long kind of initial explanation here. BGD says, you're right that Vellum imposes streamlining that reduces granularity of control. Yeah, that's what it does. Somebody has got to solve this problem because I really want to lay this thing out once and then have it generate the print file, a PDF of the print file, which is different. That's why there's got to be both, because you got to deal with things like bleed and so forth if you're actually going to print. Or even print on demand and things like that. So, and what you don't want to have on the export of the PDF. People don't understand that. Hey, when you lay this out for print, a PDF, can't you just, when you lay out a PDF for print, people say, especially in the RPG space, can't you just export that PDF and then also have it as a digital PDF? At the moment, it seems like no. I haven't found any software that allows you to lay something out for print and then also export a PDF of that print that's actually suitable for, reading like you would expect it to be as a PDF book. I have not found that yet. But it seems like we should have that because that's a problem that like everybody who's publishing a book has. And then you also want to be able to have a version of the book that is reflowable text, like if it's a text kind of story like the A Trial of St. Gabriel is. And so, that's reflowable text. So that's 3 different versions. And it sucks to have to lay that out 3 times. And especially if there's like a correction that has to be made, all of a sudden that means it has to be corrected in 3 spaces. We need one place that's able to generate those. BGD says, I also wrote my entire doctoral dissertation in Word. I don't know how we did that. It looks like you're writing a dissertation. Yeah, Clippy shows up. All right. Let's see what Stephen Pressfield has. Robert says, InDesign is the best to my knowledge. That's what we've used for our school paper in the mid and late 2000s. Yeah, the problem with InDesign is must just be something that's not intuitive with my mind. I mean, I use a lot of Adobe projects, a lot of products. And that's why I was like, I should just be able to sit down here and do this in Adobe InDesign. but there are like some basic things that were flubbing me and preventing me from getting it done. So ultimately, I want to move to InDesign. After the Trial of St. Gabriel project, what I want to do is just actually take dedicated time to learning InDesign. And that way, all of my projects can just go like to set up the template, like it's talking about. I mean, I'm seeing great things on YouTube and stuff like that, setting up the template, passing then all future projects through InDesign. But at the moment, there's some stuff that it's doing that I just don't quite understand. So I will do that after, when I'm not in the crunch of trying to actually get it produced. All right, everybody, you got your drink here? I've got Coke Zero this morning in a canteen cup. Classic morning grind. Let's take 2 deep breaths, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. And sip. Okay, this is Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. How much are we reading today? Oh, let's read both of these today. 3 cheers for the amateur life. Before we begin ruthlessly deconstructing the amateur life, let's pause for a moment to give it its due. The amateur life is our youth. It's our hero's journey. No one is born a pro. We've got to fall before you hit bottom. You've got to fall before you hit bottom, and sometimes that fall can be a hell of a ride. So here's to blackouts and divorces, to job losses and lost cash and lost self-respect. Here's to time on the streets. Here's to years we can't remember. Here's to bad friends and cheating spouses, and to us, too, for being guilty of both. Becoming a pro in the end is nothing grander than growing up. What exactly are shadow careers? It's the amateur. What is the amateur life? What are addictions and obsessions and displacement of activities? How can we learn from them and profit from them when we finally put our days on the streets behind us and begin to live our real lives? My Shadow Career, Part 2. When I was in high school, I read a book by Jack Kerouac called On the Road. The book blew my brains out. The beat bohemian life that Kerouac described was, I thought, the coolest, most romantic thing I had ever heard of. I loved the idea of traveling around the country, working jobs and meeting people and submerging yourself in real life. A lot of other kids read that book and thought the same thing, but very few were dumb enough to actually try to live it. Again, I was getting the writer's life confused with real life. My trucking career was an attempt to professionalize a life on the road. It wasn't a bad idea, actually. It beat the hell out of my prior years of aimlessly drifting from East Coast to West Coast to North to South, wondering why the life I was living wasn't measuring up to the cool beat times that Jack Kerouac had found. But life was strange, and things work out in their own weird way. When I finally did turn pro and started getting books published, my literary agent turned out to be a gentleman named Sterling Lord of Sterling Lord Literaristic in New York. Sterling had represented Jack Kerouac. It was Sterling who made the original publishing deal for On the Road. Interesting. Sable says, InDesign is one of those programs that existed and Adobe just bought it, so it doesn't quite match the rest of their controls and layouts. It was originally PageMaker. I remember that, PageMaker, and Adobe acquired it by buying Aldevus Corporation in the mid-90s. It's never quite acclimated to the rest of Adobe's ecosystem since. Well, I'm going to use that as my excuse then. That's why, even though like I use Illustrator all the time and I like Illustrator, I've got more uses for it coming up. But maybe that's why like the intuitive nature of InDesign just wasn't there for me. Phaser says, I can't remember. All I know is that I've been used Word 2002 and that everything else just seems too complicated to use now. I would not, like, now that I've got Scrivener, for any type of long document, man, Scrivener is fantastic. Although I hear people also write in Ulysses, and I don't know anything about Ulysses, but I think that's like a competitor to Scrivener or alternative to Scrivener. Which I might even start using, but I use Scrivener now every day. All right, so let's see what was going on here. Let's about this data collection and what's going on behind the scenes here. Try to get this organized in a better way. And I'm going to talk this out too. I'm going to try to talk out what's going on here, and I'm going to add data and add information to the spreadsheet. We can talk about what's going on and what needs to happen to actually make stuff happen over here. Okay. Maybe do this in a better way. Oh yeah, I knew James came over to Scrivener too. I'm all for Scrivener as well. I started using it less than a year ago, but now I can't even remember what it was like without it. Like writing, dissertation writing would have been so much easier in Scrivener. Well, and so would I think any type of novel or anything like that. So YouTube is collecting all of our data now or something? I thought they already did that. Well, yeah, YouTube is, yes, I'm sure. Okay. So I was trying to come up with what is it that I've got and what is it that we're doing here. I've got this other terrible thing right over here, the terrible sheet that we were looking at earlier. Oh, and I also need to bring up the presentations or the notes from the dinner last time. Where is that information? Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Well, I'll have to come up with that someplace else. But all right. So here we go. All right. So one thing. Okay, here's something you might not know about me, but it needs to be at least on the list of things that are over here, because I've got this YouTube channel that I haven't posted to in years, but it actually is my most successful YouTube channel. Isn't that ironic that you can post stuff on a YouTube channel and then never come back to it, like for years, been gone for years, and it can actually be the most successful YouTube channel of all of these things that I've been producing over here? So actually, that YouTube channel is called GeoMines. I need to crop this logo. Well, whatever. Can I just send that to back? Okay, fine. This is actually the channel where I uploaded all of my teaching material when I was teaching geography at the university. So let me take this down. So I don't know what to do with this, but I figure it might as well be on the list because it is something that happened and I don't know what to do with it. In fact, some people were like, man, you should actually be doing more teaching geography. Obviously, since that's your most successful channel, what you should be doing is teaching geography to people. Well, maybe. So GeoMines has got 16,300 subscribers. Oh, there I am talking about geography here. So as of I want to put like the date here. So at least we have, this is for December. That has 16,300 subscribers. At least it gives us some kind of benchmark. Hey, if you just, if I just talk about geography, what type of channel do I end up with? And I'm interested. That has 1.2 million views. I'm going to make note of that too. So again, just for reference here, if you just make some educational videos and then you do nothing, what happens? You get, well, that got maybe that got 16,300 subscribers and has 1.2 million views. 1.239 views. I would like to think that maybe someplace in here I've actually been influential on geography. I wonder what if I go to videos and I say popular. So yeah, what is geography? So I did do this video on what is geography, geography's most basic question, and that one has 228,000 views. So that was published 10 years ago. 10 years ago. A video on spheroids, ellipsoids, and geoids. And this is interesting. I haven't looked at what my most popular geography videos here. Spheroids, ellipsoids, and geoids has been watched 72,000 times. Geographic versus projected coordinates, 41,000. Another what is geography introduction, 38,000 views. Spectral, I did a stuff on remote sensing and satellite imagery over here. So that's a reference. Maybe I'll do some more geography sometime. Robert says, oh, James has just subbed. Interesting topics. Well, there you go. This is what I used to teach at the university, and it's possible I would return to this if somebody had a reason for it. I mean, that time is always a big thing, but it's a huge stepping stone toward a lot of the coursework in geography, specifically geographic information systems. I would think there isn't already an entire course. It's probably not 2 courses, but the basic introduction to geographic information systems that you'd have at the university, I recorded and I put entirely online. So as far as helping out the world here, like if you were trying to get a college education, like needed a college course in geographic information systems, I put it up for free. Robert says, splitting up the channels into specific subject areas has clearly been a great success. How a channel grows is clearly very important. Yes, this has been a great success. Yeah, this channel right here, Heath's Geekverse, is 15.9K views. It's positioned to overtake GeoMines. It's been behind GeoMines consistently for many years. Thank you, Andrew. So that's what's happening right here. The growth of the cultists and table talk shows the algorithm will recommend to the correct target audience if properly branded. I think that's happening. That's what I was thinking. And also that way, like, obviously, I think one of the reasons that GeoMines is successful is because, okay, it's only this. It is only geography and geographic information systems. So if you come here, you probably want to watch some other videos on this, on the same subject, and then of course, you've subscribed, nothing else has been coming out on the channel because I've been outside of academia for so long. But then after that, you know, you're not seeing the cultists on this channel. I don't think I covered that yet, but it would certainly be a subject to cover on the channel. It would be. That's the kind of thing that would like that. There is a whole how to use Adobe Illustrator for cartography. One of the things that I did, which might be relevant to some people who are doing cartography or wanting to do cartography for fantasy maps or for maps for their fantasy worlds or whatever, is that the problem with the GIS software is that the maps it made was just absolutely horrible. Like the maps were just terrible. And so what you had to do, so I taught classes in cartography. And one of the things that we would do is we'd do all of our analysis in GIS software packages. But then if you actually want to do a nice map that's going to communicate information to people, especially for presentations or for publication, you couldn't. I mean, people did. I mean, God knows people did just publish the maps that the GIS software would produce. But if you wanted to actually make it look nice, we would take the data out and then we'd put that into Adobe Illustrator. And so I hated having to teach the software in class because it just ate up so much class time to try to teach all of the button pushing of the software. So if you actually need to know the button pushing of the software in Adobe Illustrator to make maps, and you're like, how do I learn Adobe Illustrator? I do have a playlist on that. So that's Adobe Illustrator for cartographers. So that might help you. I don't know if somebody's trying to learn Adobe Illustrator from the ground up because they want to be able to make maps for their stuff, whether that's scientific, bringing in scientific data or just trying to make yours. I got a complete course on the technical side of using Illustrator for cartography. So if anybody wants that, hey, it's free. The course is free. It's right there. And then that was just a part of my cartography course. I assigned that to everybody for homework during the cartography course. I was like, learn to use Adobe Illustrator. Learn to use Adobe Illustrator for homework. Learn all the button pushing. And then when you come back to class, everybody will know what buttons to push. And then we'll actually talk about the theory of map making. We're going to push our knowledge further a lot into theory, what makes good maps, what makes bad maps. And we're not going to be struggling with what button to push. I taught a lot of courses that were software based, and man, I mean, I want to talk about the theory and the what actually make, but man, sometimes the button pushing of the software is such a hurdle to get students over. So, okay. So anyway, that's one thing. PH says you could also mix content and start a channel on world building. These videos tend to go beyond the RPG, which causes many writers interesting. Yeah, that's I don't think I need any more channels. I don't think I need any more channels. But there could be a world building channel. I tried like a toy channel and that did not work. James says, have you done the math to break it down for a comparison? How many views in a month does that equate to over the length of time it's been available? Oh, that is a good question. Where is how many views a month something is getting, or over 48 hours? Let's use 48 hours. YouTube gives me 48 hours really easily. So just not having touched geomines, but that's also an important metric. So at the moment, for reference, geomines, I'm going to write this down on my keynote presentation as well here. At the moment, December 4th, and it's getting 571 views an hour. Not an hour. 500 in 48 hours. So in the last 48 hours, that channel has gotten 571 views. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. My data, the kind of data that I'm getting to figure out what I should be doing, and if what I'm doing is useful at all. Yeah, that's the kind of data that I'm talking about. James says, I never got into Illustrator. Always wanted to. I'm going to use this as an excuse. Good excuse to do it. Yeah, I think Photoshop is still my go-to for any kind of image creation. Sable says I can use both of them, but I think that people tend to be more comfortable with either vector. And I'm definitely more of a vector guy. I think that actually comes from vector analysis in GIS. I was definitely a vector analysis kind of guy. Used all this, and so that kind of translated over to Adobe Illustrator. Until I conquer, you can't be the one true master of YouTube until you conquer all of the channels. Well, that's what we're trying to do here. Conquer all the channels. Okay, so let me take that down and then put back up. So like I said, I don't know what to do with it, but it is something that I've got. So that for reference, that's been happening here. Okay, what is something else that we've got happening here? I'm actually a bit distraught that the data I put together for my meeting last week, did I accidentally trash it? Let me look over here. Let me look in the trash. Oh, I did accidentally trash it. Okay, I'm glad I was able to look back in the trash. Okay, so hold on. Maybe I should be able to bring it up here on this computer because that was important information. What is it called? Okay, found it. Okay, so this is Heath's Geekverse, the channel we are on right now, which for a long time was just the main channel. And that's where I was putting everything. But actually, oddly, this channel right here has become the least well-developed as I've been moving like my materials over to other channels. So what kind of situation did I have? This was back on 20 November. So 20 November over on Heath's Geekverse, we had actually, I went through and I wanted to see just how many people had watched the morning grind. How many views of the morning grind had we had? And which is actually not really easy to get because that's not total views. That's just views on a morning grind, which is mainly what I do on this channel now is the morning grind. And as of 20 November, there had been 83,000 views on the morning grinds. That's in total across all the different episodes. We had 83,000 total views on the morning grind, basically in the last year. So basically in 1 year, that's what we had 15.9 K subscribers on the channel. And I think that probably what has hurt this channel the most is that I had a whole bunch of different types of material on this channel. And so from the cultists to dinner and a board game to table talks and things like that. And I didn't really conceptualize spreading them out. But once I start separating them out, I can also figure out which ones I don't need to do. But there are 1.7 million total channel views on this. So you can see this one actually has more channel views than GeoMines, but less subscribers. So there you go. And this got 24,000 views in the last 28 days at that time. What is our 48-hour view? This is whole channel wide. Channel wide, this channel had gotten 24,000 views in the last 28 days. In the last 48 days, 48 hours rather, YouTube says that this channel, okay, so real time. This is for December 2023. No need to update everything, but just as another reference. So in the last 48 hours, this channel has gotten 1,623 views. So it's getting a lot more than GeoMines. The subscribers, I guess, are more sticky because it's well branded. But this one is getting more views. That's like 3 times as many views in the past 24 hours. But then again, like I said, I haven't published anything to GeoMines in years and years and years. Maybe if I wanted to be edgier, I could be the Vector Vigilante. Hey, I got a mask over here. The Masked Nap Man 4M. If I'm going to be making maps masked, will this mask work? There we go. Andrew says, I assume that those are just YouTube and not Facebook, Twitch, etc. Yes, that's a great point. What are we doing here? This is just YouTube. It's not showing, there's basically nothing on Twitch. I have a Heath's Geekverse Twitch channel, which I do go ahead and send everything out to. Like we're streaming on Twitch right now. But the weird thing about Twitch is that nobody shows up there. and I hear this from other people as well, that that Twitch is just terrible about discovery. That you can apparently stream to Twitch forever and a day, and you wouldn't have any type of and you wouldn't have any kind of viewership. So I've started to create Facebook pages for these different brands. For instance, Table Talk is now streamed also on a Facebook page as well. And so I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should share that now. It's like Doug, for instance, has a pretty big following on Facebook for like his authors page. So now he starts sharing the links to Facebook, the links to the Facebook stream directly on Facebook, which I think helps, by the way. Now, we had, when I was still with Infinite Black, I mean, basically that entire company was built on Facebook. This was years ago. Things have changed, but that whole company was basically built on Facebook. And I had almost no luck at all telling people, even when we were doing Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, hey, take a look on Facebook. What are we doing? Come and check out what we're doing on YouTube. And basically that just did not work at all. And I guess there could be two different reasons for that. The first is they're Facebook people anyway. If you're on Facebook, then you need to be shown stuff natively on Facebook. Same way with Twitter or with Twitch, I guess. Trying to get people to cross social media platforms seems to be very difficult. You know, if you're on YouTube, I'm not going to tell you, hey, come check out something on Facebook or something, because you're on YouTube. But then also probably, I think that like Facebook will bury posts that have like a link to another social media outlet because they want you to stay on Facebook, obviously. I don't know that. So Elon was saying that X does not do that, but I probably a lot of them do. Robert says, is Heath's growth coming from OGL Orc Elf? Which videos are driving the growth? There were a lot of people who came in for OGL material. Now, the problem is that a lot of them didn't stick around, you know, as far as channel growth goes. But there was a lot that was going on. There was a lot of viewership, specifically on OGL topics that was last January. So there were a lot of people that came in there. I mean, when I look at this channel, I did this. Let me look at my channel here. Videos. When you're just talking about videos that people watch. And I was wondering, like, what are my, like, should I be promoting like my best top 10 or top 12 videos? Yeah, like some Ryan Dancy clips are some of my most watched videos. But really, Hero Quest. A lot of people, I noticed, especially with comments and things, people will watch the Hero Quest videos. I still, my largest, so my most watched video is when I was building that TV case with Lou for the animated maps for playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I built that case with Lou. I video recorded it, and then edited it out as a video. And that is the most watched thing on this channel. So that has the Geekverse gaming. It was a lot of gaming related stuff. So the building Heath's TV gaming, or building a TV gaming table, it wasn't mine, it was Lou's, for digital maps. That one has 630,000 views. So that's a lot. 630,000 views. I guess people want to watch videos about how to put a TV on your Dungeons and Dragons table. Oh, yeah, most recently. Most recently. Hey, okay, let's look right here. In the past, 28 days. In the past 28 days, what were my most watched videos on this channel? The number one is still the building the TV case. That one has gotten 4,300 views just in the last 28 days. Hey, just 1 second. Let me take just a brief break. Just 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for sticking with me. So we were just talking about more recently. So 28. So what are people watching here on this channel recently? Building a TV case for your D&D game. That one still is most popular on the channel. It's also the most popular in the past 28 days. 4.3 thousand views. 4,300 views. Hero Quest, best Hero Quest house rules. Got 1,100 views. Interestingly, I wouldn't have guessed this, but the sex, sexuality, and Barbie and Ken live stream that I did on the morning grind with that one had 826 views in the last 28 days. What can be changed? What should be changed in Hero Quest? 799 views. Best alternative magic system for D&D, 797 views. It's when I talked about the Ataltis system. Realistic combat for RPG, 788 views. Making a board game table, when I made my board gaming table for the gaming dungeon in there, 692 views. Making the Hero Quest board in 3D, 689. Making a Zombicide 3D Zombicide board, 667 views. And then also our looking at how you want to be a game master on the morning grind, 588 views. So those were the most popular videos on the channel in the past 28 days. So yeah, that's interesting, Robert. So Robert, like not only talking about not only in general, but most popular, like what are people watching in the last 28 days? So that's what people are most watching in the past 28 days. Yeah, Andrew says people do like lists, top lists of items. I thought about that. Well, but also like just like what are the top 10 or 12 videos that most typify the kinds of material that is on Heath's Geekverse now? Let's see. BGD says, I think conceptually tabletop and virtual gaming has always been the core content for his Geekverse channel. Not only is that stuff interesting to a broad audience, but it's also archetypical geek. Yeah, I agree. That it seems like the gaming stuff that his Geekverse should be largely rebranded, generally gaming stuff, which is why I've been removing stuff that doesn't necessarily fit that and then moving it over to its other channels. Oh, really? Oh, so you did find it through the cultists. Oh, well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Which is now over on its own channel. Okay, so now, all right, let's see. What's next? Okay, so what has been happening with Table Talk? So the next thing I need to do is I need to come up with a Table Talk one. I got to prepare all this material anyway, because I believe it's December 18th. I'm going to have another meeting on all of this. Okay, now, what is the purpose of Table Talk? Doug and I were talking about this, and actually we talked about this at the end of my conversation with James Bacon on good and evil and storytelling from the Catholic perspective. Like, what is the purpose of Table Talk? Because in the beginning, I mean, Table Talk, obviously the name of that anyway comes from Table Talk at the table, the gaming table. Originally, I was doing Table Talk, which was just me and one other person. And then General Geekdom was the panel show, but it was too much to try to create both the Table Talk one-on-one, but then also trying to coordinate an entire panel on Sunday nights wasn't something I could do. So now there's just Table Talk. Sometimes it's just me and one other person, but if there's a topic that we need to cover with more than one person, like the Christmas story on Tuesday night, then hey, fine, let's just have more than one person on the panel. And just have all that. So I think that's been a much easier way to handle, because then it can be one person, it can be more than one person, it doesn't matter. That's what's been going on there. But topically, what is our key kind of topic here? And I was talking to Doug about that. I still like the idea, because like we could just do movie reviews. Like Doug and I can just talk about movie reviews and things like that. But I kind of like the idea of making this, is broader better or not as good or whatever. Deep conversations, the idea of deep conversations in the Geekverse. I feel like if I just, like, it could just be a movie review channel or whatever, but that isn't really what I was trying to do. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of conversations. We can have deep conversations about movies, but we should also be having, I think that the idea for Table Talk should be that this is where you go for deep conversations in the Geekverse, whether that's one-on-one or whether that's with a panel. And that does make it a little bit broader, because if it's just, hey, we're always talking about a movie. So like when Doug is on, then we are often taking a deep dive into some kind of story analysis. But I also like talking to Justin, Alexander. I think there are other people who are doing things, deep conversations in the Geekverse with people who are doing things. What do you think about that? If that's the central drive for Table Talk? People who are doing things in the Geekverse. That way we're not just always talking about what we especially don't like, but actually people who are doing things. Yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about that here in a moment. About how we get these rabbits out. Because we'll talk about that later. But the strategy I originally took to try to produce the action figures didn't work. And I'm trying to revise that. Like, if I wanted to launch those action figures next year, if I wanted to go for another relaunch of the action figures next year, what have I got to do now based on what I've learned in order to get these action figures done? Because the problem is, I attempted to do the action figures because they're big. They're a big, flashy thing, I think, anyway. And big is good as far as like getting the word out about it. But on the other hand, I don't think people knew enough about Rabavania to be able to support those action figures at that time. They apparently could not just be done by the action figures alone. So I got to get more information out about Rabavania, because those action figures are expensive. In order to crowdfund those action figures, it's going to take a lot of people in order to get that done. BGD says, personally, I'll be glad when content licensing isn't the most engaging feature of writing and publishing RPG content. I like thinking about the business side of producing publisher work, but the OGL is over. BGD is says his Geekverse is about creativity and productivity first and foremost. That's what I like. Yes, I agree. Creativity and productivity, I am big on both of those subjects. Charlie says, love the talk with Justin Alexander. Yeah, that was a fantastic one. That one was a fantastic discussion. Robert says, Table Talk seems to be centrally about different ways to tell stories, whether it's a game, book, or movie. I agree with that. I like that. How do we get or an experience of a world too? We talk about the experience of a world. Makers are, that was one of my original ideas. And you see that in early Heath's Geekverse videos, is doing videos about making things, about being down in the workshop and making things. I love doing that. I love being out in the workshop. I love making physical things. Man, those videos were hard to make. They took a lot of time and a lot of editing. And also, on the end, I don't think it really got anywhere where, that's not really driving forward to where I wanted to be. Robert says, I would agree. It's very story focused, regardless of any given discrete topic. Andrew says, I would guess collabs with other toy channels. Now, see, that could happen too. That could happen too. Lots of crowdfunding toys crowdfunding toys have been funded in the last years. You need to find those channels. Yeah. So when I'm ready to start that remarketing directly for those, I think, yes, some collaborations with other toy channels. Might reach out to and ask people here on the Morning Grind what channels I should reach out to when that's happening. I think this is very preliminary at the moment, but I think that like the attempt to relaunch Rabavania with the action figures and all of that needs to be next fall. I bet we could get everything ready by next fall to launch that. Preliminary. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Phaserist, do you think narrowing the scope will get more viewers? Okay, let's see. But we also have this idea about story. Telling stories in multiple let's see, this is possibly the core. Multiple formats. I don't understand exactly the word I'm looking for. But, actually, that's something David and I talked a lot when I was still working at Infinite Black, that we wanted to be able to tell our stories and have people experience our worlds in multiple different ways, whether that's a story, whether that's a video, whether that's a game, board game, a role-playing game. We talked about that quite a bit. Possible core, which, because if it's just, I don't know if in the long term I'm going to be interested in just, hey, movie reviews. This is, I think, probably better. Going with the 6-inch scale of smarts, a lot of existing lines. Yes, that was actually thought of that. Yeah, but see, well, I'll talk about that because I also want to be sure that as I was trying to make sure that my toys were as far advanced as possible before the crowdfunding campaign runs. So we're not waiting for freaking ever. Because I hate the long wait. I mean, sometimes it's necessary. But I hate the long wait after the crowdfunding campaigns. Like, if I could get the molds made before the crowdfunding campaign, that would be huge. No, so I don't think we need to resegment Table Talk. I mean, it's possible. I mean, that was actually kind of something that Doug and I were talking about. That Doug was like, well, some of the earlier Table Talk stuff is not just about a story. I think Doug really wants it to be a, or was proposing that, yeah, that's a better word. It was proposing that, like, man, we should totally double down on movie reviews and things like that. Phaser Risk says that's kind of too broad too, though. I know. This isn't something you can tell to somebody. That is the problem. That, like, telling stories and creating worlds in multiple media is actually, I think, the word I was looking for. Multiple media. You need some type of hook that you can tell to people, arguably. But I still really like this idea, since it does say Table Talk, deep conversations in the Geekverse, that this is a place where you're going to be engaging with something, whatever it is, in the Geekverse. I mean, deep conversations in the Geekverse. I don't know whether people will understand what that is or not. I am going to cut a new trailer. The trailer that I've got for Table Talk is not working. I'm actually going to cut 3 trailers. It's going to take a little while because it'll be some work, and I got other things to do too. But I'm going to cut new trailers of Table Talk because I realize that the trailer should really be bringing people in for the whole channel. It's not right now because it's too people focused. So I'm going to cut another trailer that is about the topics that we talk about and the questions that we address. And I think that might help. So with this focus on, okay, deep conversation at the Geekverse, what type of topics do we cover? And I think if people saw that, it might even be more successful. So I'm kind of still thinking in that direction, but it needs a whole new trailer cut. Yeah, I mean, I can't break it to another channel. I'm shooting too many live streams and stuff like that as it is right now, and running to it. So I can't multiple media. That's it. Thank you. Because, yeah, it seems like it should work. Because we've kind of discovered that here with the Morning Grind. We're talking about, well, we talk about role-playing games. We talk about the movies, the stories. We talked about different kinds of things. We noticed that kind of people have this kind of same kind of general interest and multiple interest across that. People who play role-playing games also like movies. Okay, so where were we on that? What's happening right now appears to be very successful, because so this was back what was this? This was on November 20th. So here's what happened on November 20th. 20 November 2023. One of the worst things that's ever happened with in the cut and paste world is having to specifically choose paste and match style. So on November 24, we had 94,000 total views on that channel, but that did include shorts. I haven't been able to make too many shorts over there recently. I've been trying to bring somebody else on board to help out with the production of Table Talk. That hasn't worked. I got a meeting on that this afternoon. That hasn't worked like the way we wanted it to. But we did have 94,000 total views, but that did include shorts. That include shorts, which sometimes can get a lot of views. That's not traditional YouTube views. So that's everything there. We had 430 subscribers, and we're getting 150 views in the last 48 hours organic, 2,000 views in the last 28 days, and 1,152 public watch hours in the past 365 days. Of course, channel had not been live for that. But now, okay, so this, at least I'm getting the numbers on here. I'm going to have to adjust my numbers, adjust this and make this prettier, but at least it's getting the numbers on here. So at the moment, this is for December. And what do we say? We have 853 subscribers. Let me look over here on my numbers app. 844. 844. 844 subscribers. So that's some growth. I mean, that's really great. I mean, we almost, not quite, almost doubled Table Talk subscriber base in however 10 what is today, the 5th 2 weeks. So basically 2 weeks. So yeah, in one sense, okay, wait a minute, this is working, don't don't adjust it. So that's doing very well. Now, how many viewers have we had in the last 48 hours? In the last 48 hours, okay, well, actually, in the last, we've had 6.6K, 6,600 views in the last 28 days. I need to get this actually sorted onto a table so that we can just add another date and then a new number and then also generate a chart over here. That's what I want to do ultimately here in the last 28 days. And then in the past 48 hours, we have had 1,433 views. Or 48 hours. And we have had, okay, but you see how long are people watching? We have now had 1,399 public watch hours. What did we say? So this is why I wanted to have all this kind of handy for reference. So this channel has gotten 1,623 views in the last 48 hours. Table Talk has gotten 1,399. No, excuse me, 1,433 views. So that's pretty close. Geekverse is ahead by 200, but that's, Table Talk hasn't been going all that long. It's already got 1,433 views last 48 hours, only a couple hundred behind Heath's Geekverse. Right, yeah. I mean, eventually, this should get rolling. Hey, good morning, TSL Frontman. Good morning. Good to see you. You're right. The great thing is the more subscribers you get, the more word spreads and need more subscribers. So, yes, I mean, that should be how it works. There must be some type of level that if you prime the pump to some certain level, then things really start to take off. So that's interesting. Probably one thing missing from Table Talk is for comics. Maybe get an interview with Eric July and other indie creators. Well, see, if you've got other recommendations like that, especially if they are on YouTube, because it is the YouTube platform, so there might be some intermix and things like that. I would like to talk. I would like to talk to Eric July. I don't know him. I mean, I don't know him personally, obviously, but I also have not really been following everything that he's been doing completely. So I would also have to catch up on that. Because I know that he's a comic book creator and been extremely successful with that. And he seems to be successful at doing the kinds of things that a lot of us want to do. So talking to Eric July, that would be really interesting. Okay, so the ones whose brands aren't tanking like Marvel and DC, Eric July, Ethan Van Shiver, and Yankees boy Zach. I don't know them. Where's my notes? Phaser says, Eric is a great example of someone who is highly successful because his channel is specific. I remember back when he first started. Yeah, boy Zach. Yeah, boy Zach. Not Yankees boy Zach. All right, I made note of that. Robert says, I recommend talking to a creator named Narwhal. Okay. He wrote the Earthbound series. Eric is in the middle of a lawsuit right now. Well, wait, that might be interesting to talk about too. People like talking about lawsuits and legal things on this channel with things like the OGL and the different lawsuits and things have been going on. People do appreciate talking about that, apparently. So maybe there's some kind of lawsuit going on. People would want to talk about that. Your boy Zach, his channel is Comics Matter. Eric is dealing with ISOM being used by a big church company and trying to sue him, even though he had no idea they existed. Oh. Hey, Dungeon Master. Good morning. Narwhal is the true writer in that indie comic scene. He's perfect to talk about story structure. All right. So also, an important thing is that you do have to have an end for these things. And the end is important because you can always start over. Or always keep going. But like, what is Heath's Geekverse is kind of doesn't follow that, because especially since I'm doing the live streams now for the morning grind, when do I end that? When do I know when the morning grind is done? Well, I kind of don't. It's just kind of every day. and likewise, kind of with Table Talk, that could be like, well, when do you know when Table Talk is done? I do want to say that I do want a complete evaluation after 100 episodes. Like, after you've done 100 episodes of Table Talk. All right, do I need to, what needs to be readjusted? That the 100 episodes is kind of a hard line. Then do you continue? Do you not continue? Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? What's working? What's not working? What kinds of shows should we do if we continue to go? What kind of shows should we not do if we don't continue? If we do continue, what should we not do? So I think this is episode like 68 or 67 or something. So, but after 100 episodes, like, okay, what's actually happened here with Table Talk? There's also Doug 10 Nepal. but controversy follows him. It's all nonsense, but if you seek him out, be prepared for it. He created Earthworm Jim. I do remember Earthworm Jim. He does his own comics too, huh? The morning grind is a tradition now. It must endure. Right, yeah, I know. And well, right. So it must endure. I think so so I'm not putting kind of time limit on this. I really would like to be able to show off more and more stuff about what stuff is actually happening and being created here as we go forward on the morning grind. Like, it would be fantastic to have the morning grind while The Cultist is being shot. Cultist season 3 is being shot. Yeah, so when Eric hooked up with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is when his channel really blew up. Same with Disparu and others. And I don't know a whole lot about that. Although the only thing that I basically know about that is that I think that that Geeks and Gamers started here in Alabama as well. I think. I don't think he's here now, but for some reason, I thought I heard at some point, like I was watching like an interview with him or something like that. Yeah, he must have been being interviewed by somebody else. And he said that Geeks and Gamers also started somewhere here in Alabama. I have not. See, I would be interested in reading his story as well. It says, if you want to talk about marketing, I'd say July is a great go-to, but how to write a great story. Oh, so that's true. So he did start. Yeah, he's in Florida now, but he started here in Alabama. I wonder if Lights would do a video interview or something. I remember she did a great graphic novel, Skin and Earth, and it's very personable. I don't know who that is. Make note of that. These are great notes. All right. Okay, so that's one segment. And see, now that I have all these things segmented out, I can start collecting these numbers and then figure out what to do with them. Because when it's all in one place, I can't really collect. I can't. It was difficult to also figure out what was working and what's not. I actually said early on, and whenever I got away from it, and I was like, wait a minute. One of these early on strategies is that I have no idea what's going to work. I have no idea what world people are going to like, what stories people are going to like, what shows people are going to like. If I had any idea, I would just do that one. Right? But you don't have any idea about which one of those is going to work. So the strategy is, okay, I've got all of these different ideas. It's tough trying to do all of them. It would be nice to eliminate some of them, but I don't know which to eliminate. So if you start off like a kickoff, in fact, I kind of think of it as Napoleon and his corps, that you've got all the different corps, that the core is in the core system, the military unit, the core system. Each one of these different channels or brands or whatever is like its own core, and then they're all living off the land. Napoleon says, all right, go find the enemy. And so all of the corps charge off in the direction. But then when you hear the sound of the guns, when one of them has encountered the enemy, then everybody needs to converge on that particular one that is that people are really liked and is really successful. So that's the kind of that's the way I conceptualize this. And it's much easier to have all of them established as individual cores and living off the land if they are separated out like this and you're tracking their numbers. The interview I linked to in the 12 Genres book, the author says, to paraphrase, I always tell people, don't try to write what genres you think is popular, or write the one that you enjoy. Too many irons in the fire. I am that. Yes. I am definitely the case of too many irons in the fire. And Sable says, you can get what's popular from a dozen different places, but it won't last. Instead, do only what you can do. Do what only you can do, so that you're the only place that people can get it. Yes. Now, I think that's completely true. But here's one of the problems that I've had over the past many years, is that I haven't been able to create, like, when you think about what is the only I can do, I think about bringing out like the worlds of Theophany and the worlds of Rabivania. But it hasn't even been technically possible to do. with the emergence of technology now, it's only now becoming possible, I think, to actually bring those things out and do them the way that I wanted them done. So, in the absence of the technological ability to bring out those worlds, a show like, then what kind of show are you going to produce? Something like Table Talk, something like Dinner and a Board Game. Those are kinds of shows that can be produced without with existing technological capability. So it may be the case, and I've got some more work that I've got to do on the technology of the generative AI side, to run some tests to figure out if that's possible to do those. If it's possible to do those and they start to gain traction, they'll probably take a lot more time. But then other things would need to fall away in order to make room to, hey, I'm finally able to do technologically the worlds that I'm trying to do, or really want to do, and the story advice, building out those stories. So it may be that we're also experiencing a technological kind of revolution here. By the way, speaking of technological ability and thinking of what AI can do, have you checked out TL Draw? No, I do not know what that is. Will you drop that in the AI for Creatives link in Discord? I will check that out. I just did get an invite to Kriya, which is the one where you draw and real time it adapts what you want. So we're going to be talking about that more, because that may be the case. If that's the case, if I actually have the technological ability now to really hammer the worlds of Theophany and Rabivania and get them done and present them in video form like I've wanted to, other things will take a back seat. Other things will take a back seat. So we will just have to see. The morning grind, I'm not worried about. The morning grind does cover a bunch of different topics right now. Yes, that's kind of difficult to tell people what is the morning grind about. But the reason that I started the morning grind was to give me an anchor point in the day to be here every morning and talking to the people who wanted to be here in the morning, talking about the kinds of things that I wanted to talk about. Because I was just I had come unmoored after my team broke apart after the Dinner and a Board Game and the cultists and so forth. And we didn't really generate the revenue fast enough. And so my team broke apart. And then I was like, well, what do I do here now sitting alone in my house? Well, one of the things was the morning grind. So yes, the morning grind covers a variety of topics. That's why it is probably this channel is probably now the least well branded of any of the different channels that I've got. At the moment, I'm not worried about that. I'll return possibly to the branding and so forth of this channel and the morning grind later, because right now the morning grind is what it is, and it's what gets me up in the morning and gives me that anchor in the morning. And I hope for you guys as well. So, but yes, that's a problem with the morning grind. If you're talking about what's actually a problem the morning grind has got, that is a problem that the morning grind has got. But anyway, Table Talk, anyway, I'm very impressed with its success here. So getting to 1,000 subscribers, I also think will be important to be able to invite other people on. Like, I feel like 1,000 is a psychological kind of thing on Table Talk. If you want to invite people on, 1,000 is one of those, is a good number. So at the moment, I'm liking how Table Talk is going. What's next? Oh, This is probably actually going to have to be a multi-day kind of stream then. This seems like it's a popular topic. We have 18 people watching. So 18, I don't know if you often get kind of behind the scenes numbers about trying to build out YouTube channels and brands and things like that. That's why I thought it would be interesting in the morning. I needed to build this out anyway, because I need to be able to take this to a dinner meeting on December 18th and get this looking presentable and get the data and see how things have changed since the November 20th and things like that. To even figure out if we got numbers moving in any kind of correct direction and what those are. So actually, we may just do this again tomorrow. BGD says this is a good discussion to have this week. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I think we'll just continue here, because I've got other things I've got to do today. And we've been going for almost the 1.5 hour mark. So we go for 60 or 90 minutes. So I think this is a good one. So Phaser Risk says, you don't have to make Table Talk a movie review channel. Just use movies as its hook. Movies are, after all, just visual stories. Yes. And a lot of people know them. talking about the big movies that people know. And I do think that that talking, and sometimes I want to talk about like what was recently released, like Napoleon. I was really excited about Napoleon. Didn't work out, but I was still really excited about it and want to talk about it. When House of the Dragon comes out, that will be hot and new, and I want to talk about House of the Dragon because I loved House of the Dragon. Right, Andrew says, I watch a bunch of YouTube for the content creator specifically, and some of it just for the content. If I like the person, I watch more, even if not stuff that I'm into. Yeah. Yes. Ash Quests. Amalgam Ash would be a good guest. He just hit 1K. I've seen a few of our guys there like Sable. Oh, I don't know him. If you've got these, also, I'm taking notes here, but you can put them in the Discord server as well. Anyway, but I know that a lot of people are trying to do the kinds of things that I'm trying to do as well. So also the morning grind is kind of behind the scenes. You kind of see how, who knows? Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't work. Maybe I will end up homeless, washing my hair with rainwater under a bridge here in a few months. Maybe none of this will work. In which case, you also get a behind the scenes view of all of that. You'll get to see what's happening over here. So if we're able to do something here, well, then you who have been here on the morning grind and watched will have been able to see it. If it kills me, then you also get to watch that. So either way, you could be watching success behind the scenes, or you could be watching self-destruction behind the scenes. So that's what the morning grind here is for. So yeah, and also it helps if you're trying to do something similar, which I know a lot of people are being creatives here. Here are the kind of numbers I'm getting. Here's the kind of numbers I'm looking at. So we got some benchmarks to look at. So hopefully that's useful. All right. I know I've got that incoming. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day. This was fantastic. So we'll continue the discussion tomorrow. This was fantastic. Everybody have a wonderful day. Be creative, be constructive, and grind on. I will see you tonight. No, today's Monday. I will see you tomorrow morning.